Majo John Madden broadcasting from the Arely Restaurante in El Diamante, Mexico, and it's part of the Diamante Hotel, which Miguel there is the manager of, along with his dad, Miguel Mayor, I guess is senior. I think they say senior too. And here's the restaurant where I've been hanging out for 4 weeks. 4 weeks. My little world, and welcome to it. This morning I got started with a blast. I park. Oh, this is gonna be a noisy truck. This is a carretera. It's a very well-paved road through the eastern side of Mexico. It draws a lot of truck traffic and a lot of people running all the way down into other parts of Central America. You'll see the awning and the big red. Can you see the red truck behind this truck? Behind this trailer that's parked here, you'll see a white awning and a red dump truck. My van is parked over there and it's being worked on. So up there this morning I had a blinding flash of clarity about a life inviting you to get bigger. So I just did it today. I came down here, saved that video to YouTube by plugging it in here and getting on the Wi-Fi. Went across the street to this, on the right side of the blue post there's a tienda. I got a Coke for me and a bag of kibble for my two favorite street dogs, Mufafa here, who periodically gets run out of this restaurant, but he likes to hang out under my table because we've gotten tight, so he keeps coming back. And one of the things I was saying this morning was that the 21-year-old waitress Marissa and I have kind of energy with each other. And she had not been here yesterday, but this morning I was showing off for her while she was sweeping the floor. I was telling her about my favorite job in Asheville. One of my favorite parts about that job, because after a big professional career, I did all frontline customer service work in Asheville, North Carolina for 16 years. And one of my favorite jobs was the Massed General Store, a really cool store. And every morning I swept the beautiful sidewalk. It was all inlaid tile, and the name Massed General Store, which is an icon in the southeast there. Swept that floor. It was my favorite thing. So I was telling her, yeah, this is work to be proud of, and you do it really well. And there is Marissa right there. And so she was mopping the floor, and I can keep saying all this because everybody else here speaks Spanish, so nobody's understanding a word of what I'm saying, pretty much. Miguel, who just went up over there, is about the only one who understands any English. So while Marissa was mopping the floor, I was juggling. That is my new thing. My new thing, juggling. And I'm actually pretty good at it, and it blows my mind that a 76-year-old would have, out of the blue, this kind of eye-hand coordination. I don't know where it came from, except that after 3 years of travel, I am way more in my body. This old heady intellectual has gotten way into his body. So I was throwing it here where it's kind of shallow, but then in the middle of the restaurant, it's really high. And I'd be standing like 5 feet away from her, juggling and bouncing it and juggling it like that. And a little distracted right now because I'm videotaping. But I was definitely showing off. And I was saying to the group around the table that I have decided that I probably will look around for an apartment in Vega, which is the nearby town where Marissa actually lives with her mom. And I realized she lives with her mom. Nothing's going to happen there. Get an apartment. You can get an apartment in Mexico for a month as cheaply as a couple of days in a hotel. So I got more assertive with Miguel, who's been kind of slow about getting me my money. He's helping me a lot by laundering my American money into pesos, and I'm paying him a fee, a tip for it. He didn't ask for anything, but I'm giving him a tip. But he's been a little slow about it. And so I just gently prodded a little, saying, blah, blah, I want to go into Vega, I'll need a little money. And got my point across there. And I also spend a lot of time out here now. Brian, who part of the family and works in the restaurant, it's 3 nuclear families, big extended family, the most beautiful family I've ever encountered, so functional. Some dog has been knocking this garbage over every night. So Brian was out here this morning cleaning that up. I let them know that I have a date, and I'm running late for it, but I'm going to do it, to go out across this field. If I go way back along the fence line here, there's a spot where I just took a risk yesterday and opened the big white gate and said, oh, well, Mexico, they're not going to shoot me for this. In Texas, they might. And discovered a horse ranch back in there. The guy who owns all this land, and he's got a mare and a colt who do come down here sometimes. Well, Francisco, who works at one of the stores in town, he and I knew each other. He's excited about that. He knows some English and has spent some time in the U.S. Had just been to Mardi Gras this year in New Orleans, and I had been there the previous year. We talked about all that when I saw him at the tienda. But he also volunteers or works as a hand at more than one ranch over here. And this ranch belongs to Gustavo Sr. and Jr. Jr. is a college student also. So those 2 guys are really into speaking English. So I got 45 minutes or so of walking around and seeing how genuinely hilly, because the mountains do rise up out in that direction. And I was far enough back in there to see, it looks flat here, but it's not flat at all when you get back there. And being around horses, which I haven't been around much, they had several of them. That was exciting. And I promised to come back today and walk with Gustavo again. And I'm going to do that. I'm running late, but that's not a problem around here. And I went way behind the hotel, is my favorite peaceful spot where you don't have the road noise. And I shot a video back there. And this dog, Mufafa, who's gotten so tight with me, there are 3 dogs tied up in back. I thought they were all more dare bite risk, but it's really only the one big black one that's a true bite risk. And the other 2 I've become really good friends with. But all 3 of them are going to go crazy if a strange dog comes into their backyard. And Mufafa, this morning was the 2nd time he just said, fuck it, I'm going, I want to be with John. So he followed me all the way back there and set off the dogs and just stood in front of me like, hey, I had to do it, man. I want to be with you. So it's a good day. I'm feeling my oats. I am going to go see Gustavo. It's Saturday. I'm not going to go in this afternoon to Vega to look at apartments. And Domingo, this is sabado. The Saturday is the Sabbath. For all the Catholics here, it's not really the Sabbath, but for some of the Pentecostalists, it is. And Jehovah's Witness. No, I think they're Sunday. Family is all Jehovah's Witness. But Domingo, Sunday, is not a good day for business, so I'm not going to go into town tomorrow. I will probably go to the beach today. Tomorrow, both days, I don't know. We'll see. It's a combination of take the bull by the horns, take charge, kick ass and take names, and keep touching base in the spirit. Keep touching base in the spirit. One of my favorite old Asheville people who taught me consciousness through the path of Byron Katie. We got back in touch with each other recently through Facebook Messenger. And she said to me, no, I'm really not into doing phone calls with people, but I am offering this package of teaching, a weekly study group where we're studying this guy who's really got a great pipeline into non-dualism. And I very gently wrote back and said, nice, I'm glad you're clear about what's up for you. I don't study from anybody else these days. I've got my own pipeline into non-dualism, and anybody else, I don't care how famous, is just going to distract me. How's that for clarity, huh? Yeah.